and that is the riff. All right, let's chew on it. Joining us now, we welcome Wyoming Senator Cynthia Lummis and North Dakota Senator Kevin Cramer, to both of you. Thanks very much for doing this. Senator Lummis, maybe too soon, have you seen or heard about the new so-called clean continuing resolution?
We just heard about it from your reporter while we were listening and waiting. So that's our first exposure to it. It actually sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So I'll ask you a follow-up just quickly. It's been, Hillary Vaughn's a great reporter, by the way, so I'm sure she's got the scoop for everybody. But here's the thing. Why do you all want to suspend or end pay-go? In other words, you're spending on one side. Nobody knows how much, by the way. Nobody knows what the first bill cost. Nobody knows what this bill costs, which I think itself is a great disservice to taxpayers. But pay-go, remember that if we're going to increase spending on one side, we're going to cut it on the other, because the idea was, Senator Lummis, and I'm going to get to Senator Cramer in a minute, the idea was we spend too much money, or let me put it to you differently. Joe Biden spent too much money creating inflation, and we know that Bidenflation is still around. I'm going to get to the Federal Reserve System in the next segment with Charles. But the point is, what happened to pay-go? Why don't we have offsets anymore?
Democrats use pay-go to spend more and raise taxes. Republicans use pay-go to spend more and borrow more. But neither party uses it to cut spending.
Right.
So that's why it doesn't work. And that's why I am so pleased that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are taking this Doge effort to really dig into the inefficiencies and the poor spending and consolidating government agencies and ferreting out waste. They're our last hope, because the Congress doesn't have it in them to do it.
Well, apparently not. I mean, Senator Cramer, this new CR, this clean bill, as it's called, which I think the word clean is a very poor adjective, but whatever you're going to call it. I'm not hearing spending offsets. I'm tired of Biden. I'm tired of Bidenomics. I'm tired of Bidenflation, and I'm tired of Biden spending. And if you're going to have some priorities, it should be offset. It's a lost art, but after all, that's part of the problem. The fact that we have a new Republican administration in Congress does not necessarily mean we have to use it to imitate what Democrats have done. That's one point. The second point is, Senator Cramer, I want to get rid of the debt limit altogether, the debt ceiling. It's a stupid thing. It ties up, you always get into these government shutdown politics. You know this. You've been around for a long time. Senator Lummis, you know this. You've been around for a while. It's ignored. All it does is force, it's blackmail to spend more money in order to stop the government from shutting down. Who cares? Social Security has nothing to do with government shutdowns, et cetera, et cetera. Get rid of it, Senator Cramer. Just get rid of it.
Yeah, well, I have some sympathy for that position for sure. The one thing I would say, though, over my years, and Cynthia and I have done this together for quite a while, there are times when you come up on the debt ceiling, which is the moment that you can actually have a serious discussion at what are the causes of the debt, what kind of process changes or institutional changes can we make, and use the debt ceiling as leverage. The problem is when that happens, much like Graham-Rudman or Budget Control Act, you get a year or two of savings, and then you suddenly blow the whole thing up and you're back to overspending again. So I'm kind of with you on that, although I would like to say if we were going to actually eliminate the debt ceiling altogether, I'd like to get something big for it, something like a Prevent Government Shutdown Act, some sort of, again, institutional guardrail that's permanent, that actually gets after the issue of spending in the first place. With regard to the pay-go issue, Larry, one thing to remember, this continuing resolution really, and you're right, it's not clean, because you can't say it's clean plus. That's not clean.
Right. Yeah.
However, even at that, this is for the next couple of months of spending, and you put it in the context of an entire fiscal year. So if there's going to be a pay for, it would be in the second half of the year, which brings up the fact that come January 3rd, when Republicans actually have a majority in the Senate, and January 20th, when we actually have a president, and we get together on budget reconciliation. Look for, first of all, low-hanging fruit. Look for the opportunities to cut spending. Look for opportunities, more importantly, in the second part of the year when we get to take up tax policy and generate more revenue through pro-growth policies that grow the economy and help grow us closer to balance.
Senator Lummis, how about the first part of the year? You know, Senator Cramer's given me this line about mañana. It's always tomorrow. It's always the next quarter. Now it's the second half of the year. The debt ceiling is for 2 years. You know what's going to happen. None of this matters. You know, I'm in a 12-step program that often argues the problem is self. You can't have governance from that. The problem is in yourself, and you have to change yourself. Now, you all need a higher power down there for spending and other things. There's no question about that. But the reality is it's always put the tax cuts first. That's my other point. I want to start the blue-collar boom in the second half of this year, not next year or the year after. Put the tax cuts first. Put together a real reconciliation bill that includes border security and tax cuts. That's what I want. And if the Doge brothers can get together with Russ Vought at OMB and the other members of Mr. Trump's team, let's start cutting spending right now. I don't need debt ceilings to do it. I don't need pay-goes to do it. I don't need crutches to do it. You just have to do it. Just do it. Shock the nation and do it.
Larry, from your mouth to God's ear. We absolutely can do that. And the plan is to put the border security and some defense components of reconciliation out first and then follow it up with the tax component.
No. All at once, ma'am. All at once. As sources close to President Trump are telling us. He would like one big, beautiful bill.
I don't think it gets done any sooner, though, Larry. That's the point. If you're going to do one great big one, if the end date is September of next year, or you're going to do a easy one early and then do the tax
100 days,
September
Senator
of next
Cramer.
year.
100 days, maybe 120 days. I'm willing to wait 3 or 4 months if it all gets done. If you tell me you're going to do border first and tax cuts second, then that tells me if you're lucky, you'll get tax cuts at the end of the year. You might not. 2017 was pretty darn lucky. It was like a Doug Flutie Hail Mary pass into the end zone, which was caught back then, but it won't always be caught, these Hail Mary passes. And meanwhile, the blue-collar boom won't start this year and might not even start next year if you wait. You can't wait. That's what I'm trying to tell you, both of you. You can't wait. You have to start in right away.
Remember, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act don't expire till the end of next year. So we have that room to get it done right, not just get it done fast.
You don't have any room. That expiration date, that's the penalty zone. That's the penalty. You don't want to go near the penalty zone, Senator Cramer. You don't want to be within 100 yards of the penalty zone. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Senator Lummis, come on, I'm counting on you, a good Wyoming conservative. You got to talk some sense into this North Dakota guy, for heaven's sakes. All at once, ma'am. All at once.
Well, you are taking the Jason Smith House Ways and Means Committee notion of this.
Yes.
And, of course, the Constitution was designed so the House would act first on taxes.
Yes.
So you might get your wish.
Yes.
If the House moves pursuant to your design, pursuant to Jason Smith's design in the House, and President Trump's design.
I'm just saying, I can't speak for the president. Lord knows, never speak for the president. He will speak for it when he's ready to speak for it. But I will say this. Sources close to him are saying that he would like one big, beautiful bill. And that's something. And if he puts his foot down, it can be done. It can be done. I'm not going to tell you who I've been talking to in the Senate, but I've talked to a lot of people, leadership, and so it's just a matter of timing. Don't wait. Never take second best, you know?
Larry, President Trump's the only one who won all 6 swing states.
Yes, ma'am.
Who won the popular vote, who survived 2 assassination attempts, who's survived all these bogus lawsuits. If anybody's earned the right to say what he wants in this space, it's President Trump. Believe me,
You got
He's
it.
going to be calling the shots.
But
You
it would
got
be
it.
better if he'd speak sooner rather than halfway through the
Exactly.
process.
Yeah, good point.
I'm sure. Look, he will. When the time comes in, I'm not going to speak for him. He'll speak for himself. I'm just telling you what sources are saying. But yes, he will speak for him, and I appreciate what you said, Senator Lummis. And as far as you're concerned, Senator Cramer, how about some pay-go? Pay-go, come on. Somebody's got to put a stop to all this Biden spending. You got to stop. I love you, sir, and I'm going to wish you both a very happy Christmas and season's greetings and whatever you're celebrating. But we should celebrate spending restraint and then pro-growth tax cuts, all right? Thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Senator Cynthia Lummis, Senator Kevin Cramer, thanks ever so much.